Asia's most iconic couple is secretly dating in real life. Can you believe it? They keep saying it's all an act, but every glance, every gentle smile, every real-life moment is too real to ignore. Watch this video until the end, because the truth behind their relationship may shock you. Do you think this is just fan service? Or is there a real love story hidden? Let me know in the comments. It may sound unbelievable, but Asia's most iconic couple may have been hiding a true love story all this time. Today, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most controversial boys' love rumors. One that has sparked countless controversies, inspired millions of fan edits, and blurred the line between show and reality. But before we get to the heart of this story, let's go back in time and start at the beginning. Zee is one of the most recognizable faces in Thai entertainment. Known for his chiseled features, calm demeanor, and commanding screen presence, he entered the spotlight as a model and quickly transitioned into acting. Over the years, he's become known for his bold roles and undeniable chemistry with his co-stars. And then Nunew appeared, with a fresh, lovely face, a gentle voice, and a natural charm. From the first moment he appeared on screen, Nunew captured the hearts of the audience. Originally a singer before becoming an actor, he quickly stood out thanks to his innocent appearance and naturally charming stage presence, immediately becoming a true fan magnet. Both artists were on the rise separately, but when they were cast together in Cutie Pie, everything changed. From the very first press conference, things were different. It wasn't just two actors appearing together, and it certainly wasn't a mere marketing strategy. Their body language was comfortable and natural. Their smiles were genuine, not forced. Even the subtle way they stood, just a little closer than most on-screen couples, was enough to draw people's attention. From that moment on, the whispers began to flow. At first, fans thought it was simply good chemistry for the movie. But as promotions continued, rumors began to spread. Innocent glances quickly turned into affectionate glances. A polite hand on the shoulder turned into gentle touches at fan events. During live streams, Zee would unconsciously glance at Nunew every few seconds, and Nunew would immediately burst out laughing whenever Zee looked at him. Soon, people started asking the inevitable question, is this really just acting, or is there something more? Could two actors share such natural chemistry without there being any real substance behind it? The more famous they become, the more people start to notice the signs. Fans have watched interviews where Zee's facial expressions soften whenever Nunew speaks up. During a fan meeting, Zee instinctively grabbed Nunew's hand to help him off stage, something he's never done with any of his co-stars. And if you watch Cutie Pie's behind-the-scenes footage, there's a clip of the director yelling, "Cut." But Zee and Nunew still look at each other, smiling for a few more seconds, as if they forgot the cameras were rolling. These aren't baseless assumptions. These are real interactions, recorded in public, viewed by thousands, and shared across massive boys' love fan communities around the world. When two people act so comfortable with each other off-script, can it really be called fan service? Or could it be a subtle sign that a potential love story is going on behind the scenes? Don't forget, in an interview, a reporter asked directly if they were together in real life. Zee smiled and replied, "We are very close. Let's just say we understand each other better than anyone else." And Nunew, he didn't deny it. He just bowed his head and smiled, the kind of smile people do when they have nothing else to say. The moment went viral. Since then, more and more fans have started collecting receipts. They noticed that the two often posted Instagram stories from the same location, just minutes apart. They attended the same private events, even when they weren't scheduled to film. And once during a live broadcast, Noo-Noo accidentally mentioned Zee, using a Thai word that couples often use in intimate conversations, before immediately correcting himself. Was it a mistake or a silent confession? That's what makes this story so compelling. Two incredibly talented artists at the height of their careers, surrounded by cameras, yet still giving us glimpses of something that could be much deeper than showbiz. And let's be honest, maybe that's why people can't take their eyes off each other. Because this isn't just a normal couple. It feels different. It might even be real. And even though they've never officially announced anything, the way they act around each other has millions of us waiting, watching, wondering. So what do you think? Are they simply pandering to fans, or are we actually witnessing a real-life love story unfolding before our eyes, carefully hidden from the spotlight? Stay tuned, because in the next part, we'll dive even deeper, analyzing each of the most compelling moments. By the end, you'll be able to decide for yourself. Is this just fan service, or something completely real? Are you ready? Can you believe that one of the most talked about love stories in Asian entertainment started with a quiet casting? In early 2021, Cutie Pie was just a script on someone's desk. Zee, already a well-known actor in the boys' love industry, was contacted first. He read the script, agreed, and continued his normal schedule. At that time, Noo-Noo wasn't even on the casting list. He was still an unsigned rookie, auditioning for small roles and posting vocal covers on Instagram. But eventually, they were both invited to take the same chemistry test. That was the first time they met. Staff members later recalled that the room fell silent as soon as Zee looked at Noo-Noo. Another actor had just finished reading his lines, but suddenly, the atmosphere changed. Even Zee admitted in an interview he was completely different from anyone I had ever worked with. There was something gentle about him, and I can't explain why I wanted to get to know him better. It didn't sound like someone talking about just colleagues. Their first scene together wasn't a simple greeting. It was a dramatic confrontation in a coffee shop. Most people expected more takes, because remember, Noo-Noo had never acted on screen before. But then the director revealed something surprising. We only needed one take. Their eyes understood each other. From that moment on, things began to change faster than anyone expected. During rehearsals, Zee naturally took Noo-Noo under his wing, guiding him, helping him find the right emotions. It initially seemed like a senior helping a junior, but just a few days later, they were on set late together, rehearsing an emotional scene long after the crew had gone home. No cameras, no audience, just them, and a line they repeated over and over until Noo-Noo finally smiled and said, "I get it." Zee nodded. He didn't leave until he was sure Noo-Noo was okay. A few behind-the-scenes clips began to appear online. At first, it was just small things. Zee waiting for Noo-Noo before leaving the set. Noo-Noo just laughed when Zee made a joke. Zee bought 2 iced coffees every morning. No one asked him to do it. He just did it. Does this still sound like someone who barely knows his co-star? Their first livestream together sent the fandom into a frenzy. Zee's voice trailed off every time he turned to Noo-Noo. He laughed at even the smallest comments. One fan wrote, "I've never seen Zee react like that to any other actor, ever." And it didn't stop there. At the first fan meeting in June 2022, during the closing speech, Noo-Noo suddenly burst into tears. The entire audience was completely silent. Zee didn't hesitate. He walked straight up to Noo-Noo, put his hand on his shoulder, leaned in, and whispered something. Noo-Noo wiped away his tears and smiled. Fans called it the first public moment of consolation. You remember that moment? And did you notice that Zee didn't even look surprised, as if he knew exactly what to say? During another live stream, Zee accidentally called Noo-Noo by his real name, Chawarin, instead of his character named Kua. They both froze for half a second, then burst out laughing, trying to cover it up. Fans immediately recorded the moment and dubbed it "slip of the tongue." Because slips of the tongue only happen when something real enough to throw off the script. When the scene moved outdoors, the situation continued. Zee stayed behind after his scene was done, not because he had more work to do, but simply to wait for Noo-Noo to finish. A production manager later confirmed that Zee would quietly stand behind the monitor until Noo-Noo finished his last scene, and only then would they go home together. Honestly, how many co-stars do that? The more you dig into these little moments, the harder it becomes to believe that this was just good acting. But here's the real twist. When exactly did their relationship transition from work to personal? Was it the late-night rehearsals, the comfort of a fan meeting, or the chemistry test that brought the whole room to a halt? Are they really in love? Stick with me, because the answer may be more real than you think. Which first moment did you think hinted it at something real? Was it the eyes, the comfort, or the slip of a real name? Can you really ignore these signs? Because at this point, it feels like we're no longer watching a promotional campaign, but a real love story unfolding, step by step, in front of millions of people. Make your coffee, sit back, and follow along with me. You'll probably start questioning everything you thought was just acting. On a typical evening, Zee and Noo-Noo hop on a live stream, laugh, answer questions, read comments from fans around the world. Everything seems normal and harmless until that moment. Zee looked at Noo-Noo with a completely relaxed expression and casually said "fain," which, is the Thai word for lover, a word many fans interpreted as a possible hint about their actual relationship. No context. No jokes. He didn't correct himself. He just said it like it was the most normal thing in the world. Noo-Noo's reaction? He froze for half a second, blushed, then gave the softest smile he could muster. No denial, no, "No, we're not lovers." He accepted it. The clip went viral in minutes. Fans started sharing it on X, TikTok, even Weibo. And honestly, have you ever used the word lover for someone you had no emotional connection to? The interview felt like a confession. Think back to their interview with Woody. He isn't the type of host to sugarcoat the question. He gets straight to the point. When he asked about their future and whether they wanted to continue working together, Zee paused. He looked at Noo-Noo, not at the camera, and said quietly, "We want to continue to be together and have fun doing it." You could hear the audience sigh. That wasn't a scripted answer. That wasn't a standard PR-approved answer. It sounded like someone had rehearsed that line in their head 1,000 times and finally decided to say it. And if you watch the interview closely, Noo-Noo never took his eyes off Zee as he answered. It felt like they were sharing a private moment in public. This is where things really started to get interesting. Fans began sharing clips that were clearly not part of any official schedule, like Zee quietly helping Noo-Noo carry his luggage at the airport, or the two sitting side by side at a small ramen shop in Tokyo at 11 p.m. No managers, no camera crew, just the two of them enjoying dinner and smiling at each other. Then there was the candid moment at Suvarnabhumi Airport, when Zee gently put her arm around Noo-Noo's shoulder and pulled him closer as the crowd around them grew louder. There was something undeniably genuine about the way they acted when no cameras were watching. They weren't acting intimate, they were just living it. Actors can fake chemistry, but they can't fake the little instincts and habits that only develop over time. If you watch closely, you'll notice the subtleties. The way Noo-Noo leans in to whisper something to Zee before stepping on stage. And the way Zee's shoulders instantly relax, as if that one phrase always puts him at ease. Even at fan meets, when the crowd loudly chants "kiss," Noo-Noo doesn't stiffen or look to the staff for direction. He simply smiles and turns to Zee, waiting for his reaction. These are moments that you barely notice at first, but when you put them side by side, they begin to reveal a picture that feels very personal and incredibly real. At a recent fan meeting, an audience member asked them to describe each other in one sincere word. Zee could have chosen a safer word like talented, funny, or even kind. Instead, he paused, took a deep breath, and simply said, "He's my special someone." No hesitation, no joking, just a sincere, heartfelt statement. The room fell silent, and then erupted in cheers. Not because the moment was cute, but because it felt like an accidental confession in front of thousands. Noo-Noo didn't say a word in response. He just lowered his eyes and smiled softly, as if to say, "I know." If you're just an outsider, do you really believe that all of this is just acting? And be honest, where are you watching from right now? Thailand, America, or somewhere else entirely? More importantly, how did these real-life moments make you feel? Share your thoughts in the comments below and don't go anywhere, because next we're going to dive down a specific moment that even No Boys Love watchers admit was when they thought, "Wait, this can't be just acting anymore." Stay tuned. For many fans, all of these little moments started to feel less like fan service and more like something genuinely meaningful, even if nothing has ever been officially confirmed. Can you believe it? A love story that hasn't even been confirmed yet has changed the lives of thousands of people in real life. At first, it all seemed like a well-made romance. Two talented actors, beautiful cinematography, an engaging plot, and just the right amount of chemistry. For most viewers, this was the kind of movie you'd watch in the evening to unwind after a long day. A little escape, nothing more. But something happened that even the screenwriter couldn't have foreseen. As soon as the final episode ended, the audience didn't leave. They stayed. They stayed for the interviews. They stayed for the shows. They stayed to observe the little behind-the-scenes moments, the little smiles, the mischievous glances, the way they leaned closer when the other person spoke. And slowly, something beautiful began to blossom. People began to feel seen, not in a shocking or dramatic, but in a gentle, quiet, almost soothing way. For many, Zee and Noo-Noo did something they rarely experienced in real life. They portrayed two people of the same sex as gentle, respectful, protective, and close to the point of not being afraid. A teenager from Chiang Mai wrote, "I used to think that same-sex relationships were always hidden and painful, but the way they looked at each other made me believe that love could be simple and beautiful for us too." Another fan from Quezon City shared, "I never thought I would tell anyone I was gay, but after watching them for a while, I suddenly wanted to be honest because they made me feel safe." This is the true impact of their story. Not a bold political statement, but a gentle, peaceful wave of acceptance. A slow trickle from heart to heart across borders, languages, and cultures. And that's exactly why it's so powerful. They never said, "Yes, we're a couple." And this is the important thing, they also never said, "No." They never called it a rumor. They never dodged the question. Instead, they smiled. They still stood next to each other. They still sang together. They still shared the same stage, the same microphone, the same umbrella when it rained. That's why people believed. And in a region where many LGBT+ people still fear rejection, their silence has become its own form of protection. A gentle shield that says, you don't have to hide your feelings. You don't have to apologize for who you love. That message doesn't need to be spoken. Sometimes it's much more powerful when lived. When two people choose to stand together, day after day, Without fear, the world begins to change in small, almost invisible ways. And maybe that's why the story never fades. It's not just a rumor. It's a mirror of what so many people across Asia secretly want to believe. That same-sex love can be open, can be tender, can be proud, even without a grand declaration. So let me ask you, the person watching this right now, where are you from? And more importantly, how did you feel when you first saw them together? Was it just cute, or was there something in your heart that suddenly felt seen and understood? Honestly, I'd love to know. Because thousands of people have said the same thing. I didn't expect to be so moved. I was just watching a boys' love drama, but suddenly I felt like someone was finally showing me a version of love that was exactly like mine. That's the true power of this rumored love story. And the truth is, even if they never confirmed anything, what they did was more than enough. They created a world where thousands of young LGBT+ people felt seen, heard, and a little less alone. But this story isn't over yet. In the next section, we'll look at the exact moments that made fans absolutely convinced that something was really going on behind the scenes, including one very specific interview where a momentary hesitation, barely longer than a heartbeat, sparked one of the biggest discussions in the entire fandom. So please don't leave just yet. Stay with me, because what happens next may completely change how you view their relationship. What was the moment that made you start to believe that this could be true? And how did that moment make you feel? Joyful, hopeful, excited, or even a little scared? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. It's hard to believe. Asia's most iconic hot couple might actually be sharing something in real life, even though they've never publicly confirmed it. It sounds like the beginning of a fan story, and yet the rumor has been circulating for over 2 years now, and it's never really died down. Every time they appear together, at award shows, fan meetings, brand campaigns, the question becomes more and more powerful. Why haven't they confirmed it? What exactly are they trying to protect? Today, we're not rehashing the rumors. We're going to take a deeper look at the real reasons behind their silence, and why that silence might be the answer. What many people don't realize is that the Thai entertainment industry is incredibly strict. Management companies closely monitor how artists speak, what they post online, and even how they appear in public. Once they become public figures, their private lives are no longer their own. They become part of the public's image. Now put all of this into the context of a rumored same-sex relationship, and the pressure immediately mounts. At that point, it's no longer just a case of two people dating. The real question is, how would brands, broadcasters, and traditional audiences react if two of the most famous male entertainers in the entertainment industry publicly admitted to a personal relationship? In fact, there are still major sponsors in Thailand who want their artists to maintain a familiar, traditional image. And some broadcasters tend to keep their distance when an on-screen partnership starts to look too natural in real life. So what happens? Management companies dictate what actors say. PR teams prepare neutral answers. Journalists are advised not to ask direct questions. And the simple truth remains: an official admission could cost them everything. So ask yourself, are you willing to risk everything you've worked so hard to build over the years, just to publicly say you love someone? Let's be honest, the boys' love market in Asia isn't just driven by scripts and acting. It has evolved into a massive fan service economy built on emotional fantasies. Management companies aggressively promote the couple image. Couple outfits at fan meetings, carefully choreographed accidental gestures, photo shoots that look almost indistinguishable from real wedding photos. And fans respond, not because they believe every moment is authentic, but because it allows them to feel something real. if only for a moment. It's because the possibility that it could be real helps maintain an emotional connection. The harsh reality. Once a couple publicly confirms their relationship, the fantasy of their relationship fades, and many fans simply lose interest. We've seen it happen before. Some actors who have been open about their relationships have quickly faced a drop in support, canceled events, and lost endorsement deals. The entertainment industry has noticed, and many have quietly concluded that sometimes silence is the safer path. So what do you think? Is it primarily the industry, or are audiences also contributing to this move? This is where things really get interesting. They never said we're dating, but they did drop subtle hints, like wearing matching bracelets in public or lyrics like "Nobody needs to understand, it's just you and me," that were released shortly after the rumors broke. In an interview, one of them said, "It's easy to say, but sometimes the truth is better protected." In a live stream, the other added with a smile, "Who knows?" These weren't fan edits. They were real moments shared by thousands of people. They didn't deny, they didn't confirm. They simply changed the question from, "Are we dating?" to, "Do we really need to say it?" And maybe that says more than any confirmation ever could. So what do you think? Is this still just acting? Or is silence the only way to protect something sincere? Now that we understand why they haven't gone public yet, what real-life moments do fans consider real-life evidence? Stay with me. The story's about to get even more real. Can love exist without a name? That question has echoed throughout the fandom since the beginning. It started slowly. A few soft glances captured in behind-the-scenes footage, a gentle hand on the shoulder during an interview, an unexpected smile when one of them mentioned the other's name. One clip became two became thousands. Suddenly, a whole tweet chain emerged where fans compared timelines, analyzing every tiny moment with detective precision. But here's the thing. These weren't heavily edited fan-made clips. These were official live streams, press interviews, award shows. This was the real thing. And despite all that attention, the two never tried to distance themselves. Other celebrities might have tried to avoid the spotlight or minimize their interactions. Zee and Nunew were the opposite. They continued to attend events together. They took on more joint projects. They looked completely comfortable standing next to each other, even as the crowd screamed, "Kiss, kiss!" At the 2023 Thai Content Awards, there was a moment that fans still talk about to this day. Nunew was accepting an award, and Zee wasn't required to go on stage, but he did. He stood there quietly, waiting for Nunew to finish speaking, and gently placed his hand on his back. There were no lines. There was no musical. But for millions of viewers online, it was the moment the rumors began to take on a much deeper meaning. And then came the music. They recorded songs together, including some that were straightforward about loving someone you shouldn't love. When asked about the lyrics, they both smiled and said, "We just wanted to sing something honest." Again, no denial, no over-explaining, just being honest. That ease turned them into something much bigger than just a ship. They became icons. For many fans, especially younger fans, exploring their identities, the way Zee looked at Nunew on stage felt like permission. Permission to imagine that one day they too could be loved in the same natural way. That they could be seen, not questioned. And that's why it doesn't matter whether the rumor is true or not. What matters is how the story touched people's hearts. Even the international media has begun to take notice. Several boys' love reviewers in the US and Europe have openly said that the couple's buzz is one of the main reasons why the genre is now more respected, because their relationship feels genuine, natural, and deep. And perhaps that's the real message here. Love isn't defined by grand declarations or flashy labels. It's reflected in the quiet sincerity people show when they believe no one is watching. And despite the millions of eyes watching, Zee and Noo-Noo continue to interact with each other as they always have, with genuine sincerity. Do you think they're intentionally choosing to stay silent to protect something real? Or do you believe this is simply the most convincing professional pairing we've ever seen? Do their actions show you something new about love, even without a label? Because whether or not the rumor ever becomes official, one thing is clear. Their story has helped normalize same-sex attraction in public, and that alone is powerful. Maybe real love doesn't need a name. Maybe all it needs is a heart-touching emotion, even if it's just through a screen. What do you think? Is this just a fan prank? Or is it a real love story quietly unfolding before our eyes? Let me know what you think in the comments, and together, let's continue to share stories that bring hope, comfort, and a little love into the world. Please keep in mind that all of these observations are based on publicly available footage and interviews, and nothing has been officially confirmed by either of them. And if this story made your heart feel even a little bit warm, please consider subscribing and staying with this channel. Because sometimes, after a long day, what we truly need isn't another headline or a crazy plot twist. It's simply a reminder that real love still exists, even if it's hidden in the smallest moments. They've never confirmed anything, that's true, but their eyes, their gestures, and that gentle silence between them have already given thousands of people across Asia a sense of hope, comfort, and visibility. So how about you? Where are you watching from? And which moment made you think, wait, maybe this isn't just acting anymore? Share your thoughts down in the comments. I truly want to hear your story. Thank you for staying until the very end of this video. I hope you continue to find little moments of kindness, whether it's in a glance, a smile, or in stories like this one. See you in the next video.